Exiting a relationship with confidence, the essential factors to verify that you're doing the right thing. Sometimes ending a relationship can feel like you were sort of tossing between two decisions. You're not quite sure it's the right thing. You're not certain you won't regret it, but you kind of know you've had enough. But you're kind of thinking, what are the parameters? What are the things I need to think about before I actually make this exit? I've already done another video on this channel and talking about before you leave the relationship, do this. Okay, so you can watch that as part 1, and this is part 2. Okay. And in this video, I am going to really talk about the mindset and the things we need to consider. What I found a lot as I have been doing this work for many years and thousands of women, a lot of us actually use breakups as boundary setting tools, which is ridiculous on any possible level. It's insane, childish, and ridiculous. But it's so tempting when you feel that you've had multiple conversations with your partner, you've explained to them about your needs, you want your needs met, you've come at it from a feminine way, you've come at it from a masculine way, you've come at it from a sweet way, you've been nice about it, you've tried every single thing that you can imagine, you've read every book, you've done everything. And genuinely, there just isn't any change. You know, he might change for a day and then revert back to standard issue, neglect or abandonment or whatever it is that is, you know, kind of really upsetting you. And so as a last ditch attempt, what we do is decide to end it. You know, maybe we've given some previous, you know, ultimatums and he's kind of changed for a week and you know, he's been a little bit of a good boy for a week and then he's reverted back. And so now you think, right, if I have any self-respect whatsoever, and if I treasure my peace of mind, and I saw that post on Instagram and on Facebook, and it said, you know, walk away, and I see the symptoms, and of course, then, you know, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to love myself or whatever and walk away. But really, in your heart, deep in your heart, in your consciousness, but somewhere buried deep within, you're actually hoping that the breakup is going to be a wake-up call for him. That you're going to say, look, I can't take this anymore. I think we should end it. And then he's going to be like, yeah, please don't leave me. Don't leave me. I will change for good now, for good. I'll be a better little boy and I'll do everything you want and I'll show up in every way that you want me to show up, because losing you will be the end of my life as I know it. And I will fight for this relationship because losing you is the worst thing that can ever happen. And I'm laughing because I think that as women, we're so naive. Men, and many of them, not all of them, but many men understand that women need to hear certain things. They've known this when they were a little boy and they looked up to mommy and said, mommy, you are the best mommy in the whole world. You know, my son did that to me all the time. A little manipulator, love him to bits and pieces. But he would do that to me all the time, you know. Mommy, you're so pretty. And I would light up, and he can see that when I use my words, when I say certain things to mom, I can light her up or I can maneuver her. So they learn very, very early, especially boys, that women are moved by words, that women are moved by, you know, the words that come out of our mouths. And once you move them with your words, then the actions don't always need to comply, because they will hang on to those words. They'll tell themselves a bunch of stories and then they will run with them. Okay, so we have to understand that they already know this. That's why men know that if they say the right things, because women fall in love with our ears and men fall in love with our eyes. We know that if we look pretty, chances are we're in there. Okay, and they know that if they can say the right things. And ladies, I have been doing this for so long, pretty much my whole life. And I have spoken to thousands of women, thousands upon thousands of women who have tried this breakup thing as a boundary setting tool, and I guarantee you it does not work. So before you present this I am leaving campaign in a bid for greater connection or some kind of understanding, I beseech thee, oh beautiful black swan, to stop right now and come to your senses. Because even if it works, breakups cannot be a conflict resolution strategy for you. Number one, you got to teach your nervous system and your brain to believe that the only way we can resolve moments in our relationships when we walk away, and you will develop a pattern of walking away from potentially great relationships instead of working through them and having internal conversations with yourself about the truth of this matter. Do I genuinely want to leave? Does my heart feel indifferent to this man, or do I still love him terribly but I'm just angry? You need to learn the power of personal introspection. It's called adulting. Have a conversation with yourself and say, what is the root of this? Is it hurt? Because if it's hurt, then I need to address where the hurt is coming from. Is this hurt that he's inflicting on me? Or is this hurt I came into the relationship with? Is this unmet, unrealistic expectations I came with? Did I come into this scenario wanting the moon, the stars, and the earth, and the reality and the fantasy did not match, and now I'm upset because my fantasy and my reality did not match? So many of us blow our relationships to hell because we have a fantasy and this man is not producing according to our fantasy. We wanted a man so we could have somebody to cuddle us every night, but he's always busy, and maybe his love language is not physical touch. And now your little fantasy and your reason for being in this relationship has changed. What is really important to consider at a breakup is really what you considered before you got into the relationship, and those are your core needs. I want to thank you so much for your support of this channel. You mean the world to me, and I am so grateful that your likes, your subscriptions, your comments make this work possible. I'd really want to encourage you, before you go any further, if you are enjoying this content, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with somebody that you know will absolutely benefit, because you're changing not only your life, not only the life of your friends, but the lives of women all over the world and children in ways you cannot even begin to imagine. So don't forget, before we get back to the program, to hit that like button and share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you. What are your core needs? Because as long as those core needs are being met, we can work through anything. Now, if it so happens that was a core need, and when I decided to be in this relationship with this man, he was meeting all those core needs consistently over a period of time, over 90 days, over 6 months before I agreed to be in an exclusive relationship with him or agreed to get engaged to him. He was sustaining, and he was meeting those needs. And is he meeting those needs on a scale of 1 to 10? Is he still meeting need number 1? Maybe he was a 10 when we first started. Now he's meeting need number 1 at 5 or at 6. Is that therefore the thing that we need to have a conversation about? And has there been a life shift? Has there been a job change? Has there been something that's happened to necessitate that number goes down? We have to really weed through our decision to break a relationship before we even consider walking away. Because the one thing that will come to those who have broken up legitimately and those who've broken up because they're emotionally infantile comes to all of us is regret. And how we manage regret on the other side, even if he was a complete narcissistic, psychopathic, sociopathic moron, The brain has a way of bringing forth regret because it wants us to fill that hole, especially if we left that person and we're still single. And the brain is like, I want connection. The heart is, I want connection. Why did you ever leave him? We wouldn't be here by ourselves anymore. And that's just a protocol of the brain trying to get you to fill the hole with what is familiar, what had become familiar to it, because it's too risky getting somebody new. So that regret is actually part of your survival mechanism, and it will come to all of us. But what will allow us to override the regret and the actions that come with regret is knowing that we did our due diligence, knowing that we sat down and said, look, these are my core needs. These have never been met from day one, but I made an exception because I thought he was cute, or I thought his money was enough. So I made an exception on communication, and I made an exception maybe on on consistency. And maybe I made an exception on him, giving me gifts and showing me, a good time because I just thought he had a good heart. Maybe I made an exception because maybe those were my core needs. I'm not going to judge your core needs. We all have a different set of core needs. And maybe I already compromised from day dot, and therefore I'm responsible for choosing somebody who never met my core needs in the first place. So yes, I've been communicating these things to him, but they're not part of his internal makeup. These are not things he prioritizes. And these are not things he prioritizes in our relationship. And clearly he has shown me in the time that I've communicated that he's not willing to make any adjustments to meet that need. So the question is it a need? Do I have to have it or I'll die? Or does he meet some other needs, or even needs I didn't even know I had, or needs that are more important to me than I thought before I started? But if the answer is no, he's not meeting any of your needs, that's enough fodder to say, you know what, we've tried this, I've communicated, these are the needs, they're not being met. I'm going to regret walking away, but at least I'm going to know that these fundamental needs that I need to just be comfortable, not happy, comfortable, like not want to kill you. If these needs are met, I'm going to be good. And if we say to ourselves, you know what, none of these are being met, or only one is being met out of 5, of course, walk away. But if those needs are being met, and it's newer needs that have come up, and maybe you're going through a personal tragedy and you wish he could be more, he could give you more of his time, more of his attention, but his life was never wired to be able to just drop everything and come. He's got a job, he's got children, he's got responsibilities that were fine for when your life was fine, but now your life isn't fine and you want him to drop everything. That's a new need. That's something new that you brought into the equation, and he's not able to meet it, but your core needs are being met. He does call you every day. He does care about you. It might not be to give you the 1 hour or 2 hours for you to need and complain about your life. He may not be able to wade in and save the day on this particular situation, but he is still meeting those core needs. In that case, you might want to consider really sitting with yourself and having a conversation with yourself. You can tell that in this video, I am not advocating that you have a conversation with him. Because at some point in our adult lives, ladies, we've got to take responsibility for our decisions. And we've got to be accountable to ourselves. And we've got to sit with ourselves, have meetings with ourselves, introspect within ourselves, and ask ourselves, is this the right decision for me? Is this going to be a worthwhile decision a year from now? Is it going to be a powerful decision 5 years from now? And you and only you get to live with the repercussions of your decision. Talking to your friends, they might say, yeah, that's the right thing to do. Get rid of him as a loser. But when they go home to their husbands, or when their boyfriend proposes, or when they meet a new amazing guy tomorrow, they're not losing sleep over your single status. Or if they say, stay, work it out, when their husband is bringing them flowers and their boyfriend is taking them on a special holiday, and you are in this horrible relationship where none of your needs are being met, but you stayed because your friend said stayed, because your coach said stayed, because your therapist said whatever, right? Those people don't do that relationship with you. And so at some point you can get counsel. The Bible says the multitude of counselors, a matter is established. By all means, resource counsel, get counsel. But when the final count, sit with yourself and sign a contract with yourself that whatever decision I make, I stand by it. I have no one to blame. I have no one to lean on when I am alone. I have no one to count on when this part of my relationship changes. It's really important, ladies, that we grow up, that we start to really think about our decisions and realize that we won't be young forever. We won't be fine forever. We won't be in that stage of life forever. And we're either going to waste it with a man that's wasting our time and we need to just have the courage to walk away, or we're squandering it with a man that is really there for us, but we are just so caught up in our little fairy tales and fantasies. This is a conversation you need to have with yourself. Of course, we're here to help you process this at the Black Swan Relationship Academy. So by all means, pick up the phone. Link is in the bio. Book a discovery call. Always love to hear from you. Always willing and ready to serve you. But in the meantime, I hope that this video was helpful and I will see you on my next one. In the meantime, do take care of you. Love you lots. Bye-bye.
Simple steps to join Black Swan community. Download the Black Swan app from either Google Play Store or Apple Store. Launch the app and tap on register. Put in your valid information, then tap on continue. Put in the verification code sent to your email to authenticate your account. Then log into your account. Be sure to accept all permissions displayed at installation stage to enjoy all the cool features in the app. You can now enjoy community of high-value women with support from coaches and trainers. Book calls with coaches, chat, post, and interact with the community. Enjoy!